From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us here for OpenLine. It's going to be a good night. We have a great topic ahead. I am joined by John Nave and Associates. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It is going to be a good night.
It's fun. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to take calls, and we hope that people will call in tonight. We have a very important topic that everyone needs to think about, even if it's scary to think about: retirement. And the 5 steps, you've made it easy. 5 steps that we all need to take. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your job, what you're doing right now. We all need to take these steps and avoid 5 mistakes that can set us up for a good retirement if we just avoid these mistakes, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, we titled
easy.
it the 5 critical mistakes to avoid so we don't derail your retirement. And Carrie, we see these quite often. The mistakes are repetitive. So we see the same people, after doing this for 21, 22 years, not only here in Chicago, other parts of the country, you see patterns develop. And it's devastating to see, because a lot of these things we could fix and we can correct. But after helping thousands of people, we've seen it all. So the rags to riches, the riches to rags, and everywhere in between, the old, the young.
Don't you feel that, do you feel your clients' anxiety rise when you just mention the word retirement planning? Like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Can we do that? Can we live and plan for retirement?
Yeah. That, it definitely is a stressor. And I think, again, one of the mistakes that we see is that people don't create the proper plan to anticipate retirement.
And that is mistake number 1, is not planning. Let's get to that in just 1 second. But I do want to say, if you have a question for John, we would love to hear from you tonight. I'm waiting to take your phone calls right here. I'm set up and ready to go. The number is right there at the bottom of the screen, 615-737-PLUS or 7587. Easy to remember, 737-PLUS. So standing by, waiting to take your calls about retirement planning, any questions you might have. John is here for the next hour to take your questions free of charge. That's even the best part, free of charge. Don't have to spend those retirement dimes.
Nope.
But let's get back to that number 1 mistake, is not having the plan.
Yes.
That sounds so big and ominous, the plan.
The plan. And the plan doesn't have to be big and ominous, but it has to have you have to have a plan. So you have to know a couple of very, very important things. What is it you want to do during retirement? What are some of the goals that you have? A big one that I don't see is what's your number? And when I say what's your number, what is the dollar amount that you need?
But how do you get to that? How do you know?
Yeah, most people anticipate, or most experts would say, that you need probably about 80% of your income. I would challenge that, because I'll ask you a question. What day do you spend the most money?
Oh, on the weekends when I'm not working.
Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So everybody spends the most amount of money on Saturday. Well, when you're retired, every day is Saturday. So you're going to find that, okay, do I need 80% or do I need 100%? So if we looked at what your current income is, you may find that that's a better number to look at and what you're trying to achieve. And
does the plan just is it just coming up with that number, or there has to be more steps in creating that plan than just saying, this is what I need? You got to know how to get there.
Yes. Well, the first step is to figure out what we need. So what is the dollar amount that we need? The second thing, or important part of that I see people making a mistake, is not fully understanding what you want. So what is it that you're really going to do in retirement? Retirement is not the way that it used to be. Our folks, they used to retire and move to Florida and play shuffleboard and golf all day. No one's doing that anymore. What we're doing is we're seeing people now move on to the next phase of life. So we're looking and we're saying, what is going to happen next? What do I want to do next? And so it's more of a focus on purpose, passion, and health, at least with us it is. So we want people to understand that, we need to know what your number is and what your dollar amount is, but we also want to know what is it that's going to drive you through retirement that's really going to get to what's important. I often share with people, I say, we'll figure out your number and we'll create a plan, but I want to know what it is that you're really passionate about. What is it that really inspires you to go next? What are you going to do next? So once you get off this treadmill that you've been on for the last 35 years, what's next? That's where it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
Because now we can look and go, oh my gosh, I want to go learn to play the piano.
You can dream.
Yes.
Yeah, it's time to dream. Of course, you got to have some money to back up those dreams.
You have to have some money. Most people, it's not as much as they think.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. Well, now I've seen the other side. That's another one of the mistakes we'll talk about in a few minutes. But it doesn't have to be as big as you think.
Because that's the daunting part, thinking, oh, I need millions and millions upon dollars, and I'm just scraping by right now. How am I ever going to get that into my nest egg if I'm pinching my pennies and watching my budget every month thinking, how are we going to do this month?
Yeah. I have clients that can retire on $250,000, and I have some who can't on $2.5 million. So it just depends. Yeah. It's all based upon your lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you have that plan and you know what the dollar amount is that you're going to need on a monthly basis when you retire, and you know what you want to do, whether it's travel, whether it's just move to Florida and play shuffleboard, or you want to start even a different career. Some people take, phase 2 of their career life into retirement. You can't just say, okay, got my plan, here's the list, going to file it away and just make sure I have that money every month, putting it away. You can't go on autopilot.
No. Well, I think one of the statistics, and I jotted them down because I got so many numbers that fly through my head, but a survey last year, only 13% of the people actually have this written plan. Conjunction with that same mistake is that once they get a plan, I think they don't have to address it again. No, I mean, you've got to look at it. You
got to be realistic. It would be nice to just have to go back to it once and say, okay, we're done.
No, you've got, because things change.
Yeah.
Life changes, lifestyle changes, divorce happens, kids come back home, kids leave, spouses pass away. So there's a lot of variables that go into that plan when you're creating it.
So don't go on autopilot. How often should you revisit it?
I would say at a minimum every 3 years. 4 years at the longest. Most of our clients will come in quarterly to semi-annually, depending on what their needs are, and we'll sit with them and go through what happened in the last quarter. We do something also called a positive focus, where we help people really sit and look and say, okay, what happened well last quarter, and what are we focusing on next quarter? So that we've got this strategy that we have a master plan that we're always working, again, towards income. But then we also want to always be focusing on what is the small stuff that happens. And the positive focus that I just mentioned is really kind of interesting, is that people will come in and sit down and say, well, what happened in the last 6 months? Oh, not too much.
And then you look at the numbers.
I'm like, really? Okay,
Yeah.
What happened? What did you guys do in the last 6 months that was positive or that was good? Well, let's see. We went to the the grandkids' baseball game. Or once you start thinking about all the good stuff that happened, now we have this list of exciting things that have happened in the last quarter. So yes, it does take money, and it does take a plan. But build the plan, build it around what's important to you.
Okay, so that first tip of the 5 mistakes to avoid: have a plan and execute it. Right? You got a plan. Got a plan.
Revisit it. Come back to it.
When you see, you mentioned that you have your clients come in either quarterly or semi-annually, and you get them into that routine. Do you see that they are making better strides towards their goal when they stay focused?
Yes. Yeah. And part of what we do is a coach and accountability. You can get a plan from a lot of people, or you can get investments from, especially in Tennessee. I mean, around this area, you could throw a rock and hit a financial planner. But you need someone that you can develop a relationship with. That is also going to help you. So aside from picking the right investments, I mean, that's a huge issue, and we talk about that too, because it is one of the things that can derail you. If you don't make the right choices with your investments, what you worked for your whole life could be gone in a year, like that.
Yeah,
decades and decades of hard work gone in a second.
We saw it in 2008. Yeah. We have Sarah on line 1. I want to get to Sarah.
Oh, terrific.
Good evening, Sarah. Thank you for being with us here on Open Line. What's your question tonight?
My question is, I'm right at retirement. I received a letter from my previous employer, and they're offering me a lump sum opposed to monthly payments. And they told me that 20% will be taken out for taxes if I choose to take the lump sum. My question is, if I'm on disability, will that 20% change? The 20% tax that they will take out, will that change?
Yes. There's a few questions there, Sarah.
Okay.
So the first one is the 20% is the amount that they withhold automatically when you take a distribution. They have to. But Sarah, you mentioned a couple other things that are important in what you were saying. If you take a lump sum, and you don't have to, you could roll that money over into an IRA, because it's a pension or a 401k plan.
Oh, let me see.
Is she there?
I'm sorry. Sarah, go ahead. There we go. Sarah, you're back.
Okay, pension.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Still learning the phones.
We're here.
What was your question again, John?
Is it a pension plan or is it a 401k plan?
It is a pension plan.
Okay, so they're offering you a lump sum. If you take a lump sum, and I'm not sure how big it is, and please don't tell me, if you take a lump sum and you're on disability, that could change your taxable income, because all that money will be taxable. They'll withhold 20% for you, but none of that money's been taxed. So, you know, Sarah, you led right into another one of our derailing mistakes, is taking money and not being aware of what the taxes are. So they'll tax you on all that money, and that may change your eligibility for disability if you show too much money coming in one given year. But you could roll that money over into an IRA and not pay any tax and not have to withhold any money because you did not take a distribution.
Okay, thank you.
My
Sarah,
pleasure.
thank you for calling in. We appreciate hearing from you tonight. Good deal. Well, we hope to have more calls tonight. We would love to answer more questions, maybe get a little stress off people's shoulders when it comes to financial planning and saving for retirement. That is what we are here to do tonight. Specifically, that's what John is here to do tonight. I really know nothing about retirement planning. I need to pay attention. I got 5 mistakes here to avoid that I'm going to learn and take in tonight right along with you. So stay with us for more Open Line next.